The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with laughter and smug conversation as Earth's ambassador walked in. Tall aliens with glowing eyes and cybernetic implants watched him like he was a strange animal. He said nothing. His black suit was clean, his steps calm, and in his hand he carried a small black cube. Council leader Varnak, a four-armed insectoid from the planet Krintle, leaned back in his chair. "Humanity," he said, smiling, "your invitation to this meeting was more a gesture of pity than policy." The other members chuckled. Some mocked Earth's late entry into the galactic stage. Others whispered that humans were still building with metal when other races used gravity fields and plasma threads. They believed Earth was still in its baby shoes, only recently escaping their own solar system. The human ambassador placed the black cube on the table in the center of the chamber. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He only pressed a button on its side. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cube lit up and hovered midair. It projected a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Red dots appeared, hundreds, then thousands, spreading like a disease. The room slowly fell silent. Even the most arrogant members stared. The red dots represented destroyed planets. "Impossible," muttered Jorvik of the Thalan Empire, a species known for their massive data networks. "That's not current data," Varnak snapped. "This is old, from the last war." The human finally spoke. His voice was calm, flat, controlled. "The last war was a distraction. These red zones are from the past 16 months. Shock rippled through the chamber. "That can't be true," cried a reptilian diplomat. "We'd know. Our sensors would detect mass deaths, planet loss, hyperspace shifts." "You did detect them," the human replied. "But you ignored them." The cube changed. Now it showed hyperspace trails, twisting, pulsing, unnatural. Something had moved through the stars in patterns no known ship could make. Some trails ended in planets. Others disappeared mid-space. All had one thing in common: silence after contact. The room grew colder. The Galactic Council had seen signs. Sensors going blind, colonies not responding, missing ships, but they blamed pirates, storms, or system failures. No one wanted to believe there was something worse out there. "You think we're fools," a bird-like alien hissed. "Why would they attack only small border planets? Why not strike our core worlds?" "They don't see borders like you do," the human said. "They don't follow patterns. They erase. They consume. They learn. The next stage is coming. Your cores are next." "Then what do you suggest, human?" Varnak asked, mockingly. "That your kind will save us." The ambassador looked at him, unblinking. "We already have a solution." That was when the cube blinked and projected a new image, a ship. At first it was just a shadow, barely visible. Then it began to turn, slowly, revealing impossible angles, layered armor, glowing lines of energy pulsing through its skin. It didn't look like a machine. It looked alive. There was no name on the ship, no crew seen inside, just the silent terror of what it was. "This is Earth's answer," the ambassador said. "A ship built not for exploration, not for diplomacy. For one purpose only: survival." The ship didn't have traditional engines. It didn't have windows. It bent light around it. The other council members stared, unsure if it was real or just an illusion. "You expect us to believe this thing exists?" asked Jorvik. "It's already en route," the human said. "And it's watching us now." Panic stirred. Council members whispered. Some began speaking in code, calling security. Others requested data access to confirm the ship's approach. The cube responded with a live feed. Outside the council moon station, something massive was moving. Lights flickered in the chamber. "You brought it here," Varnak roared. "No," said the human. "It came on its own." Suddenly, the walls vibrated. A low hum shook the air. Not a weapon, not an attack, just presence. Outside, the ship, Leviathan, as Earth had quietly named it, cast a shadow across the station. It was silent. It did not broadcast. But every sensor, every scanner, every mind could feel it watching. "You've built a monster," whispered a council member. The human shook his head. "We didn't build it. We found it." Gasps. One alien dropped his drink. "Found it." The ambassador didn't explain. He pressed the cube again. The image vanished. Silence returned to the chamber. "What do you want from us?" Varnek finally asked, his voice lower now. "To listen," the human said. "To prepare, or to fall like the others." He turned and walked out, leaving the cube hovering. No one laughed anymore. No one spoke. The council chamber, once filled with pride and noise, was now quiet. And above them, Leviathan waited. The council chamber stayed quiet long after the human ambassador left. No one moved. No one dared speak first. Above them, the warship, Leviathan, remained still, as if it was listening. Council member Voro of the Zillari Union sat frozen in his seat. He had lived through 2 galactic wars. He had seen weapons that tore moons apart, but nothing had ever made him feel fear like this. Not until now. That night, Voro went to the council's private data vault. It was deep below the moon's surface, guarded by walls of neutron steel and protected by codes known to only 4 members. Voro entered alone. Inside, he accessed a file that had been buried for over 20 years, a probe sent to Earth during humanity's early space years. The probe had gone dark within days of entering Earth's orbit. The last image it sent was never shared with the full council. Voro opened the image. It was simple. A massive shape, half buried in Earth's ocean floor, jagged, black, and ancient, the same shape he saw earlier today. His blood turned cold. Leviathan wasn't new. It had been hidden, sleeping, and somehow Earth had reawakened it. The next day, a private meeting was held between a few council leaders. Voro was there. So was Jorvik and a few others who still thought Earth was bluffing. "They're tricking us," Jorvik said. "It's all an illusion, a hologram. Humans want power, and they know we're weak after the last war." "They're not bluffing," Voro replied quietly. "That ship was found, not built. And if I'm right, it's not the only one." The others laughed nervously, but Voro was serious. He pulled out the image from the old probe and placed it on the table. Silence. "It was on their planet for thousands of years," he continued. "We missed it because we thought Earth had nothing valuable. We were wrong." Across the galaxy, word about the mysterious warship began to spread. Smugglers, traders, and spies all shared the same message. Something ancient and powerful now serves Earth. Some feared it. Others wanted to steal it. But no one ignored it. Meanwhile, Earth remained silent. No more messages, no more threats. Leviathan just waited above the council station, unmoving. Council leader Varnek called an emergency session. "We will demand a demonstration," he said. "We cannot act on fear alone. Let them prove this ship is truly what they claim." "Or what?" Voro asked. "You'll insult them again." Varnek's eyes narrowed. "They're just humans." "No," Voro said. "They were just humans. Now, we don't know what they are." A message arrived from Earth that same day. Short and clear. "We accept your request. Prepare your test. We will show you what Leviathan can do." 3 days later, preparations began for a simulation trial. The council chose their 3 strongest warships. These ships had fought in 100 battles and won most of them. Their crews were elite. Their weapons could melt cities from orbit. The test would be simple. Leviathan versus all 3 ships in a controlled area outside the station. No real weapons, only safe energy beams and shield sensors to show who would have won in real combat. But deep down, many already feared what the result would be. While preparations continued, strange things began to happen. One of the council's sensor satellites went dark. Then another. Engineers blamed power failures, but when they tried to reboot the systems, they found nothing. The satellites weren't just off. They were gone, as if they had never existed. Then the Council's AI systems detected unusual energy readings coming from Leviathan. It was not charging weapons. It was not scanning the station. It was doing something else. It was watching their ships. Every move, every signal, every system test. Leviathan saw it all. And then, late at night, one of the 3 warship captains sent a private message to his family. If this ship moves the way I think it will, we won't be able to stop it. Not now. Not ever. Back on Earth, the humans were calm. Their leaders made no demands. They said no words. They just waited. Inside Leviathan, no one knew if there was a crew. Some said the ship was piloted by an AI. Others believed it was something else. Something older, smarter, maybe not even human. As the test day drew closer, tension rose. Council members whispered about escape plans. Some began moving their families to safer planets. Others started secret talks with Earth, offering cooperation. But humanity didn't respond. They let the galaxy worry. They let fear do the talking. Because humans knew something the others didn't. They had seen what Leviathan could do. And they hadn't even shown the Council the worst part. Yet, the day of the test arrived. The Council's warships floated in space near the dark side of the moon station. They were massive, sleek, and armed with the latest weapons. Their armor shined in the starlight. Each ship carried a full crew, ready for battle, even though it was just a simulation. Leviathan arrived without sound. No engines fired. No lights blinked. It simply appeared. One moment, space was empty. The next, it was there. A dark shape so large it blocked the stars behind it. It moved slowly, like a beast that knew no one could challenge it. From the council chamber, hundreds of eyes watched the screen. No one spoke. The test began. The first council warship fired its practice beam. The energy blast was safe, just enough to test defenses. The beam hit Leviathan and vanished. No shield lit up. No surface changed. It was as if the beam entered another dimension. The second ship moved closer and launched 3 sensor drones to scan Leviathan's hull. All 3 drones disappeared the moment they crossed the ship's shadow. Drones lost contact, a technician reported, voice shaking. The third warship tried to surround Leviathan from the other side. It moved fast, using an advanced engine that allowed quick shifts in space. But before it could finish the move, Leviathan shifted. It didn't turn. It didn't fire. It simply moved a few degrees in space, and everything changed. Sensors on all 3 ships began to glitch. Weapons locked by themselves. Screens went black, then flashed with strange symbols. Some of the crew heard whispers, sounds that came through their comms but weren't sent by anyone. In the council chamber, alarms rang. "This wasn't part of the simulation," shouted one officer. "It's not attacking." Another yelled, "It's showing us." Leviathan vanished. Not in a blink, but in layers. Its body peeled from reality, like pages turning. One moment it was there, the next, gone. The council's ships were left floating, confused and silent. Then Leviathan reappeared, behind them. One ship turned to respond, its engines powered up. But nothing happened. The ship didn't move. It was frozen in place. Leviathan had done something. It hadn't fired a weapon. It hadn't used force. Yet somehow it had taken control. A message came through. Not from Earth, not from any human. From Leviathan itself. Its voice was deep, cold. It didn't sound mechanical, but it didn't sound alive either. "You are not ready." That was all it said. Then the 3 council warships powered down, completely. Their lights died. Their systems crashed. They floated like metal tombs in the dark. The council chamber was silent again. "This is not a ship," said Voro softly. This is a warning. Leviathan didn't move anymore. It hovered in space, waiting. The warships were later recovered. Their crews were safe, but shaken. All of them said the same thing. The moment Leviathan appeared behind them, they felt like they were being watched from inside their minds. One captain said he saw memories that were not his. Another claimed he heard voices speaking in a language he had never learned, but somehow understood. The council was terrified. Some members wanted to flee. Others wanted to beg Earth for peace. A few still believed it was all a trick. But deep inside, everyone knew one thing. Humanity had something the rest of the galaxy didn't. And whatever Leviathan truly was, Earth had made it listen. No one knew how. No one knew why. But they all knew what would happen if Earth became their enemy. And somewhere, far away, the true enemy, the thing destroying planets and killing colonies, watched silently. Because Leviathan had just sent a message not only to the Council, but to them too. A deep silence covered the galaxy. After the test, no one challenged Earth again. The Council's strongest ships had been disabled without a single weapon being fired. Leviathan didn't attack. It simply showed power in a way no one could explain. Some said Earth had made a deal with something ancient. Others believed Leviathan was not a machine at all, but a living being from a forgotten time. And now, everyone was afraid. But Earth wasn't celebrating. Deep underground, on the hidden base known as Black Station Zero, Earth's top minds were still working. The warship Leviathan had awakened, yes, but not by choice. Something had triggered it. Inside a steel room lit by blue lights, Commander Reyes stared at a large screen. It showed the destroyed colony of Cora 7. The planet's surface was blackened, burned down to the stone. No survivors, no signals, just silence. Reyes turned to Dr. Miriam Lang, the AI specialist in charge of monitoring Leviathan. "Show me again," he said. Lang nodded and played the last recording from a probe near Cora 7. The footage was short. A black shadow moved across the stars. Too fast to track, too big to measure. A faint sound came with it. Not a roar, not a scream. A strange hum, almost like music. Reyes rubbed his forehead. This was before Leviathan woke up. Lang nodded. Exactly 3 days before. Then, Leviathan activated itself. "Then it wasn't us who woke it up," he said. "It was them." Lang swallowed hard. "The ship is reacting to them, learning from them, studying their pattern." Reyes stood silent. "So Leviathan isn't just protecting us, it's preparing for a fight." Meanwhile, on the Council moon station, panic grew. Smaller species began withdrawing from the Alliance. Some started building bunkers. A few even tried to make secret deals with Earth, offering technology and resources for protection. But Earth wasn't responding to messages anymore. They had gone quiet. Varnak called another emergency session. His eyes looked tired. The Council chamber no longer felt powerful. It felt like a room full of scared children trying to act brave. "We need answers," he said. "Not just fear, not silence. We need to know what Leviathan really is." Voro spoke. "Then ask the humans. Ask them directly." Varnak stared at the others. No one spoke. No one volunteered. Finally, Varnak sighed. "Then I'll go." 3 days later, he arrived on Earth. But things were strange. The skies above Earth were filled with satellites, but none of them sent any signals. The orbital ports were quiet. The surface looked peaceful, but too quiet. A human official met him. Agent Care. He was calm, polite, but cold. "Why won't Earth talk to the Council?" Varnak asked. Care led him into a dark hallway. "Because it's not the Council we're worried about anymore." They entered a massive room. Screens showed data, strange signals, ship movement, dead systems. One screen showed a map with red zones, each one spreading. "They're not invading like before," Care said. "They're probing, learning. They disappear, come back stronger, faster. And Leviathan? Varnak asked. Care looked up. It's evolving. Varnak blinked. What do you mean? Leviathan changes every day. Its shape, its systems. It's not just a warship anymore. It's adapting. It doesn't just protect Earth now. It watches the galaxy. It knows the enemy is coming. Suddenly, alarms blared. The screens turned red. They found another colony, Care whispered. Varnak stared at the screen. It showed live footage. A small planet, once green, now falling apart. Cities burning. People running. Then the shadow appeared again. The same black shape. The same hum. But this time, it wasn't alone. 2 shadows. Then 3. They're multiplying, Care said. And getting closer. The screen shifted again. A message appeared. Not from the enemy. Not from the Council. From Leviathan. Ready or not, they are coming. For the first time, even Varnak felt fear deep in his bones. The real war hadn't started yet, but Earth was already preparing to fight it alone. The galaxy held its breath. Everyone had seen the footage. The destruction. The shadows. The humming sound that made machines stop working and made even the bravest soldiers freeze in fear. It was clear now. The enemy wasn't a race. It wasn't an army. It was something else. Something no one understood. And it was coming. Back on Earth, Leviathan hovered silently above the clouds. Its shape had changed again. Longer, sharper. New parts had formed overnight. Parts that no human had built. Commander Reyes stood on the main command deck, staring at the warship through a glass window. Behind him, Dr. Lang was typing fast on a touchscreen. Leviathan isn't just adapting anymore, she said. It's talking. Talking to who? Reyes asked. Lang hesitated. To the other warships. Reyes turned. What other warships? She pointed to the screen. It showed 3 new signals, deep in the oceans of Earth. Huge metal shapes varied in darkness. Sleeping. We thought Leviathan was the only one, she said. We were wrong. They were already here, Reyes whispered, long before us. Meanwhile, the Council was falling apart. Half the member races had left the Alliance. Some were trying to escape to far corners of the galaxy. Others were building shields around their homeworlds, hoping to hide. But it wouldn't matter. The shadows always found their target. Council member Voro was in his private office when he received the call. From Earth. It was short. 1 sentence. Send your best scientists. There's no time. Within hours, ships were on their way. Not diplomats. Not soldiers. But thinkers. Code breakers. War historians. Minds the Council had ignored for years. When they arrived at Earth's Black Station Zero, they were not greeted with handshakes or speeches. They were given data, charts, sound recordings, strange mathematical patterns, and a message from Leviathan itself. It wasn't in words. It was a feeling, a deep pulse that echoed through their minds when they got near the ship. Each person felt something different. A memory, a fear, a question they never asked. But they all understood one thing. The enemy is older than time. While the scientists studied, Earth's military prepared. Leviathan began to rise higher, slowly lifting out of Earth's atmosphere. It wasn't going alone. The other warships were waking up. From the Atlantic, a huge shape rose through the waves. It was rusted, covered in coral, but glowing with power. Another Leviathan, but different. Thinner, faster. Its eyes glowed blue. From the Arctic, another ship rose. This one had wings. Its hull was cracked, as if it had fought long ago. But it was ready. 3 warships now. And Earth had only just begun. Inside the Council station, Varnak called one final meeting. No more lies, he said. No more doubts. We are not the strongest. Earth is. And if they fall, we fall next. The room was silent. He looked at Voro. You said we should listen. I didn't. Now I'm asking. Can Earth stop this enemy? Voro didn't speak for a long time. Then he said, maybe, but not alone. Just then, a message came through from Leviathan. A map of the galaxy appeared. Red marks showed systems already lost. Yellow marks showed the ones under attack. And one mark, bright white, shined at the center. Earth. Then words appeared beneath the map. We will stand. Join us, or be next. The message was clear. The final war hadn't started yet. But the battle line was drawn. And Earth was at the front. Darkness spread across the stars. One by one, colonies went silent. No explosions, no distress calls, just empty signals, like the life had been sucked out of entire planets. Leviathan watched from high orbit. Its eyes, not cameras, but something deeper, scanned space like a predator waiting for its prey. Below it, Earth was quiet, calm, but the people knew something was coming. Inside Black Station Zero, Commander Reyes stood with Varnak and Voro, both now guests, not prisoners. Earth had shared its secrets. It had allowed the Council to see what was hidden. And now, Earth was asking for one final favor. Give us your fastest ships, Reyes said. Varnak hesitated. You want to attack? Reyes shook his head. No, we want to find them before they find us. The Council agreed. A fleet was launched, a mix of Earth's scouts and Council's speed vessels. They headed toward the edge of known space, following the trail of missing colonies. On board Leviathan, something new had begun. The ship no longer waited for commands. It gave them. It had chosen a captain. Not a human, not a machine, but something in between. Dr. Lang had become the bridge between Leviathan and the rest of the galaxy. Her mind had touched its core. And now she saw what Leviathan saw. She stood in the dark control room, eyes glowing slightly, connected to the ship through neural threads. Her voice had changed. Calm, focused. They're not just shadows, she said to Reyes through a screen. They are hunters, and they fear only one thing. What? Reyes asked. She looked straight into the camera. Us. In deep space, the scouts found something strange. A graveyard of alien ships. Some were twisted, others melted. All of them showed no signs of battle, just sudden death. And then, behind a shattered moon, they saw it. A black structure, floating. It wasn't a ship. It was a gate. Pulsing with red light, it spun slowly, humming with the same sound heard before each colony disappeared. The scouts sent the footage back to Earth. Lang stared at the gate, then whispered, "They're not from our galaxy." Reyes frowned. "What do you mean?" "This is a doorway," she said, "and more are opening." Suddenly, Leviathan powered up on its own. The ground shook. Lights flickered. The other two warships rose from their stations, engines lighting with strange energy. None of the humans had touched the controls. "They're calling to each other," Lang said. "The warships. They're waking up everywhere." Earth's defenses activated. Space around the planet filled with shield satellites, drones, and auto turrets. But it wouldn't be enough. The enemy had found them. From the Black Gate, something stepped through. Not a ship. Not even a shadow. Something worse. It looked like a hole in space, but it moved like a living thing. Long limbs of pure darkness reached out, absorbing light, eating energy. Everything it touched died. Leviathan fired. A beam of silver light hit the creature. But it kept coming. Then the second warship joined. Then the third. Together, their power bent space. A shockwave exploded across the stars. The creature shrieked. It was hurt, but not destroyed. More were coming. Lang stood in Leviathan's core chamber, breathing heavily. "We slowed it," she said, "but we didn't stop it." Commander Reyes looked at the screen showing the Black Gate. "If that's a doorway," he said, "then we have only one option." Varnak stepped forward. Close it? Reyes nodded. Or die trying. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, the true enemy watched. The humans had found the gate. Now, the war would begin. But Earth wasn't running. Leviathan had shown them the truth. The galaxy was on fire. Gates were opening across the stars. From each one, the enemy poured in. Creatures of darkness, born from nothing, feeding on energy, light, and life. Worlds vanished. Civilizations ended in silence. But Earth still stood. 3 Leviathan-class warships guarded the planet like ancient gods. Their bodies shimmered with strange energy, constantly changing, adapting, growing. Inside Black Station Zero, Commander Reyes gave his final orders. "Send the fleet," he said. "All of them. This is our last stand." Earth's skies opened. Warships, drones, stealth vessels, all launched in silence. Behind them, the 3 Leviathans moved like mountains with wings, their engines shaking the stars. Even Council warships followed, now answering to Earth's command. The target was clear. The main gate. The black circle in space that had allowed the enemy to enter. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Faster now, louder. Something massive was coming through. And they had to stop it. Lang was fully linked to Leviathan now. Her body had changed. Part machine, part human, part something more. She no longer needed to speak. She felt everything the ship felt. Pain, fear, anger. And one mission: protect humanity. As the fleet neared the gate, the sky bent. Reality twisted. Space cracked like glass. Then it appeared. The enemy's leader. Not a ship, not a creature. A being made of black flame and shifting shapes. It looked at Leviathan. And Leviathan looked back. Lang's voice echoed through every speaker. "This is where it ends." The final battle began. The fleet fired first. Lasers, torpedoes, shockwaves. The enemy answered with tendrils of darkness that wrapped around ships and crushed them like toys. One by one, Earth's smaller ships were destroyed. But the Leviathans kept going. The second warship dove straight into the darkness, exploding its core. A shockwave threw the enemy back, but the Leviathan was gone. The third flew beneath the gate, drilling its cannons into the gate's base. It shattered part of the structure before it was swallowed whole. Only the first Leviathan remained. Lang, now glowing like a star, gave the order. "We go through the gate." Ray shouted through the comms. "That's suicide." Lang smiled faintly. "Then remember us." Leviathan charged forward, past the enemy, past the dying stars, into the black gate. On the other side was nothing. A cold void. But Leviathan didn't stop. It reached the core of the enemy's world, a place of shadows, of endless hunger. And then it did something no one expected. It transformed. Leviathan split into hundreds of pieces, each glowing with Earth's final message: "You may destroy us, but we will never bow." And then, light. A massive explosion shook the galaxy. The gate shattered. The enemy screamed and vanished. Across the stars, the remaining creatures of darkness stopped moving. Then they burned into dust and faded. It was over. The Council watched the skies in silence. Earth had won, but at a cost. No signal came from Leviathan. No sign of Lang. Just quiet. Back on Earth, Rise looked up at the sky, eyes filled with sorrow and pride. The war was over, but the galaxy would never forget. Not the fear, not the enemy, and definitely not the day humanity stood alone and saved everyone. And above Earth, high in the clouds, something shimmered, a tiny light moving in the sky. Some said it was Debris. Others believed it was Leviathan, watching still, waiting. Because deep in the stars, some enemies don't die. They wait. And so does humanity.